formative years.
Yeah, because we lived on a farm, and I got my first console was one that Joey mailed to me because he's an awesome dude. It was his hand-me-down to me. So the first game I legitimately played, like played the hell out of. Jesus, they are at the doors. Was Final Fantasy VIII. That was the first.
You mean
one.
the best Final Fantasy?
It was the one that he gave me to play, or somebody gave me to play. It was
It's
like,
my
here, play
favorite.
this.
We had access to 8, 9,
I've
6, 1, and 2 at my grandmother's house.
I never beat it.
I never beat it either, but I
And-
enjoyed the junction system. It
Oh
was
yeah,
cool.
oh yeah, I absolutely played the hell out of it. But also, the only other one I played was Tactics. So
Tactics is a lot of fun too, though. It's just very different.
I watched someone play 7, and I didn't give 2 craps for it. So
7 gets a lot of praise because it was the first 3D one,
Oh,
and
I hated it, but the storyline was just.
yeah, but games up to that point didn't really have storylines like that. So
Okay.
it wasn't hackneyed and cliche by the time it came out. Now it is.
Yeah.
Now it's just awful.
Well, the characters in 8 were really fucking emo, but
They were.
I didn't notice it at the time because I was 15, and everybody at 15's emo.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
mean, it's just kind of the definition of being 15.
I just think from a gameplay perspective, I like 8 the most of all the Final Fantasies, but you don't have enough opinions.
At 15, I was dating a future stripper, so...
At 15.
So is that a win,
he was dating-
or-
Yeah,
I think so.
absolutely. I mean,
Johnny's seen pictures. Not
yeah.
of her stripping, but...
No, I went to see that live.
Probably did, so...
I'm sick for doing what everyone else is at a strip club to do.
Yeah, that person. Whoever that
When I was 15, I was dating.
Pamela Anderson.
Aw.
I thought you were going to say Paul McCartney. I'm like, sure.
Sure. How old are you?
15, Paul McCartney.
Oh, he was dating Pee Wee Herman when he was 15.
That's a cool thing, Trevor. I'm not going to mention it because that's a spoiler. But cool.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
Don't censor my audience. Actually, do. That's the whole point of you being
Yeah,
here.
that's the only reason I'm here. You would not want me here otherwise.
I feel like the mouse is slowing down or something, or maybe maybe my wrist is just getting stiff.
I think your reaction time is slowing down.
Yeah, maybe I'm getting too tired for this.
Oh, it does say only for talking guy. So he actually knew it was going to be a spoiler and tried to tell me not to tell you. I couldn't read the message well enough because I am a skimmer. I speed read.
You do skim.
Helps me read books.
You skimmer.
Grendel was good.
You skimmer. Books are supposed to be savored, digested. You know how much time and effort is put into making a book? You can't just skim them. You
I
have to
don't skim
experience.
books. I just read fast.
You have to experience
I
them.
trained in speed reading.
I need to do that. I need to
Because
train
we
to
have
speed. How do you
very few computer games.
How do you even do that? How do you train to speed read?
There was a computer program I used back in it was from the 90s, and it just kind of you can adjust the speed and it'll scroll through whether you read it or not, and then you have to answer comprehension questions.
Dude, I need to try something like that. I'd like to be able to speed read.
I don't know how I speed read. I don't know the technique, but I picked it up. Granted, I started reading pretty early.
Do you maintain I did too. Do you maintain comprehension when you
Yes,
speed read?
absolutely.
I definitely need to do this program then.
I mean, I didn't do it seriously. I just did it from time to time because it was at my grandma's house,
Yeah.
and it was just an interesting thing to do. I think I am just a fast reader, though.
I'm not. I read very slow, but when I'm reading a book, I often pause to just kind of digest what I just read. And also, I like to if I like a book, I want to make it last. And so I kind of savor it.
Well, also the thing is, when you read your books, you don't normally imagine voices for the characters. You kind of just absorb the words.
Yeah, and
Which is a way I can't even imagine reading.
I guess that is kind of different. But then again, when I hear someone else read the book, it's totally wrong to me. Or when I hear like a voice actor do the book,
Yeah, like a audiobook.
like or when they make it into a movie.
Yeah.
It's all wrong to me. So maybe I'm subconsciously giving them a voice, but it's
You are, but you're probably not acting it.
no.
I posted an article recently on my Facebook about how apparently whenever you have a voice in your head, the muscles in your throat actually move as you're thinking the words.
Huh.
So because I am willing and often do a lot of different voices, maybe that's why I better fill in voices whenever I'm reading a book, because my vocal cords kind of can match that.
Maybe.
But I don't know, whenever I read a book, I always just, even the narrator, I give it a voice.
Well, I have a different voice in my head for like when I'm reading things and when I'm writing things. That's totally not my voice at all. It's what I think my voice is apparently, but then when I hear myself say things out loud, I'm like, that's not how I imagined it.
I can imagine that. I can see that. One that stands out to me, and it's probably just because there was a movie of it, whenever I read any of the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy books, I read the narrator in a British accent, in a Stephen Fry voice. And I feel like I enjoy it better that way. And I kind of like when I was reading Grendel, I assigned a voice to Grendel.
Yeah, I kind of did for him.
Well,
yeah.
I think you have to for that one, because
Yeah.
it's a very monstrous, growling, scowling voice.
Well, and to me it was he also spoke quickly and kind of frantically.
That's not how I read it at all. I always read it as him speaking kind
Like-
of calculated.
Yes, like measured but quick. Like his
Yeah, you're gonna die when you talk.
like I didn't imagine him being slow and calculated. But like kind of manic and calculated.
That's the way to read it. I don't know. Whenever I read it, I read him kind of like as a. I feel like there's a character I could. If there's a voice I could attach it to.
Steve Harvey, obviously.
Never. No.
Kidding.
Is he the Family Feud guy?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, obviously him.
No. I want to say Orson Welles, but the guy who did War of the Worlds, he did that famous radio broadcast.
Right.
He speaks kind of slow and melodic, like Brain from Pinky and the Brain. That's the voice I gave.
Yeah, that's not.
Only like
I mean,
a bit more
kind of.
like wrathful.
Yeah, no, I didn't make him nearly so intelligent, but actually more like a frantic, like the mentality of an anxious teen with the voice of a like deep growling voice of a monster.
Is that how you were as a teen?
That was exactly how I was as a teen.
Yeah,
was
so
him.
as a teen, I was someone who thought they were smarter than everyone else and thought they were smarter than they were.
Yeah.
So I gave it that voice, that kind of pretentious,
Oh.
calculated voice. And not because of what you had told me about the book itself and how you related to it, but that's just what I saw in the character with myself.
But as a teenager, I was anxious enough that it showed in my voice, that I spoke way too quick all the time.
I didn't speak much at all. But in my
That
head,
too.
I was always just thinking...
Oh, in my head, I was way more frantic and panicky than I even was out loud.
I was calmer, I was quieter, I was more calculated,
think-
but I wasn't quite to that degree. But I feel like it was just a representation of what I imagined a monster to be, I guess.
To be fair, that was a long time ago, and I'm sure my voice changed. My inner monologue changed a lot back then.
I'm sure it does whenever you're growing up.
Yeah.
My inner voice has changed a lot since I've heard myself, like, in recordings. It more matches that. And actually, I hear more of my recorded voice in my actual voice than I did whenever I had never really heard my voice recorded. Or when I, like, was in complete denial about, like, no, that's not what my voice sounds like at all. Like, when I was younger, I thought my voice was pretty deep. But that's just because it echoes in your skull. I don't have a deep voice at all, obviously. My voice is kind of high.
I was watching that door so much.
No matter what you do.
Also, I think the cat farted. It's very
Definitely.
stinky. Yeah.
Good, it's going
Stinks.
that way then.
Ugh, you're so stinky. You stink. You smell bad.
Stink. What?
You heard me.
I don't understand. I don't know English. I'm a cat.
Learn it. Swear we saw a cat speaking. Swear it.
Yeah, it's a video.
Yeah.
They were giving it a bath, but they had stopped, and so they hadn't finished. And it was meowing at first, but they're like, no more. And finally, like, it was like saying it. It sounded just like it was talking.
Crazy Girl says stupid bunny.
Stupid freaking bunny, right? Stupid me for coming back to this job over and over again. Like, you would think that if I could reincarnate, as I'm obviously doing, I would stop coming back here. But no, I'm just like, nah, I got nothing better to do with my afterlife.
I haven't read very many books of my own free will, come to think of it.
I used to, and then in school they were like, hey, you have to read this book and write a report on it.
Well,
Okay.
he reads books that other people suggest, is what he means. He hasn't just picked up a book in a while.
Yeah.
I picked up a book thinking it would be good, and it kind of turned out to be really stupid, so I put it back down.
I picked up... No, Hitchhiker's Guide was a recommendation too. Anything that hasn't been a recommendation has been based on something I've already seen. Like the Melancholy of Heart and Suzumiya books.
I picked up, because it was 50 cents at a garage sale, I picked up a Tim Dorsey book of my own free will and was like, yeah, I'm going to enjoy this book. Turns out I like the whole freaking series. It's just... really
Trevor,
funny.
yes, we are finishing this game before we start on FNAF 2. I think.
If it sounds like we're bored with this game, it's because we are. God damn it, how did he get away from me again?
But we're nothing if not committed to our work. What was that? Jeebus! That noise!
I guess that was Chica just waiting for me to put the camera down.
Oh gosh. Crazy.
That was... sick. That was really creepy.
No, I guess I always read books on recommendation. I don't trust my own ability to pick a book.
It's kind of sad.
I don't think I've ever picked a book.
Even if you were like given options in class, in school, they were like, read one of these books.
I normally read something I'd already heard about.
I remember when I started doing that, when I started looking into recommendations on books before reading them, because for a long time I just picked a fucking book. Like, I would spend hours looking at books in the library, just trying to pick one.
Well, it was mostly hand-me-downs for me.
Yeah.
Hand-me-down books. So that's how I read, like, Artemis Fowl. I was a younger person. I read younger people books. There was a book series called Maximum Ride about kids who were genetically engineered into birds.
I remember the first book that someone recommended to me was The Ear, the Eye, and the Arm. I picked it up and they're like, oh, that's a good book. And it was way too, like, it was way beyond my reading level or reading grade, but I still enjoyed it a
I
lot.
was way too young when somebody handed me that Hobbit. And I was like, yeah, I'm not, no. I couldn't get through the first chapter. I'm like, oh.
Trevor says ZZZ. I thought you were going to stay up all night if we were still playing.
Can't blame the guy, this is boring.
No, I'm enjoying it. Maybe
Yeah.
this isn't what people are looking for from a FNAF stream, but
No, it's not. But, I mean, hey, man, we've been
it's
at
keeping
this for
us.
a while.
Yeah, it's keeping us around.
We're freaking tired and ready to be done with this. It's 1 a.m.
Really?
Yeah. I think this is my last go around. I can't freaking do this anymore.
Do one more after this.
Alright, fine.
One more rep. Because I want to think of a book. I want to think if I can find a book that I actually picked up of my own volition and read.
I never finished this book, but there was a book I was reading when I was in like 5th grade, maybe 4th, called The Girl in the Box. Fuck. Girl in the Box was a fucked up book. messed up.
Once without recommendation, I picked